Assassin's Creed has changed. It's not the same product, and this isn't necessarily a bad thing. But how much do you change before you're no longer yourself? I feel as if AC has somewhat lost its identity and is becoming something completely different. This difference is shown in the fundamentals of AC. All of these aspects have changed drastically into something completely different. The creed, the gameplay, and the world have all changed, and I wonder if this is intentional. In pursuit of a new look, has Assassin's Creed lost its appeal? Has it lost its own X factor? Has it potentially lost its identity?
It is a good life we lead, brother.
The best. May it never change.
And may it never change us.
Yes. We are the hidden ones.
We sharpen our blades, and pull what hope is left from this foul earth.
The creed is fundamental, the order that holds so much lore and is essential in every assassin, but it feels as if the creed is now missing, instead opting for a broader narrative that doesn't involve the creed. But this loses the aesthetic that AC was built upon. You lose the feeling of a brotherhood for a band of warriors, I guess. And of course, this would be alright, but the creed is outright disrespected from time to time.
Hytham is not amused, it seems. Am I not worthy of this gift?
It is not about worth, Eivor. It is a matter of devotion to our creed and training.
Please.
It seems as if the creed is now taken as a joke or something that should be, secondhand, which doesn't really feel right for a game that's literally called Assassin's Creed. It feels like the creed has been sidelined to a part of the story that shouldn't necessarily exist.
Benvenuto, Ezio. You are one of us.
Becoming an assassin used to feel like a journey or a pilgrimage, a growth from the character's perspective and the world. It used to feel momentous. When Ezio wore his robes for the first time, or when using a hidden blade for the first time, it felt like being accepted into a hidden society that secretly protected the world. This theme is completely gone now, since the robes kinda don't hold any meaning. I mean, they do, but you gotta search for them, and when you search for them, it doesn't really, give you that same feeling of becoming an assassin. Instead, it just gives you that feeling of, hey, I found some assassin's robes. I ain't that cool. The hidden blade is like a joke since Eivor doesn't even wear it right, and Alexios or Cassandra doesn't even use it, so... The gameplay of Assassin's Creed has always been decent, but I'd say the fundamentals have always been stealth, combat, and parkour. So, I guess we'll start the parkour. The parkour in AC always felt like it got better and better with every installment, with Unity being Ubisoft's magnum opus. The fluidity of the parkour felt similar to web slinging in Spider-Man, or freerunning in Mirror's Edge. The motions felt so real, yet it felt so free. It was a weird mix, but I believe it's the best parkour Assassin's Creed has ever had. And it perplexes me on why this parkour was dropped in favor of, well, what we have now, which is, The combat has underwent changes in AC, and hot take, I didn't mind the combat of the older AC games. Of course it was kind of brainless, just 2 buttons to counter and 1 to string, but I think it did capture that feeling of an assassin, where even if the odds are 60 to 1, an assassin can find a way to win the battle. And it did have this sense of fluidity behind it, where it felt like a rhythm type game, if that makes sense. Whereas in Valhalla and Odyssey, Ubisoft opted for a harder combat system where the player faces a tougher challenge. This is a change I didn't mind. The combat is fresh and new, and enemies are no longer one-hit objects. However, the enemies can feel spongy at times, and the combat does suffer with a bit of repetitiveness over the course of the game. It can feel amazing at times, and then just at other times. This is a change I don't mind though. Combat is actually one of the things I liked in Valhalla, but even though I like the combat in Valhalla, I think there's so much shit within this game that's just, damn.
Ours is finished.
All these brushes with extinction, you would think you would learn from your mistakes.
What the hell is this?
Assassin's Creed feels as if it's being marketed to other games. Like, other games have more assassins than both Odyssey and Valhalla. Like, Watch Dogs has more assassins than those two Assassin's Creed games. And that feels kind of weird. It feels like Assassin's Creed is a marketing tactic now.
News. Oh, that's not so much. So?
The future of AC is kind of confusing. As a fan, I just want to have good faith, but it's beginning to feel as if AC is going on a different route. A live service AC just doesn't sound appealing. If that's the direction Ubisoft wants to go down in, then we just gotta hope. But I can't help the fact that I reminisce on characters and settings that created this feeling of being in a creed, of being an assassin.
I have lived my life as best I could, not knowing its purpose, but drawn forward like a moth to a distant moon. And here at last, I discover a strange truth. That I am only a conduit for a message that eludes my understanding.
Thanks for watching this video. I've got no damn idea on how to end this video since I just spoke about Assassin's Creed. And, you know, hey, listen to Beneath the Mask. Stay safe. I'm out.
I can't tell you how to see me.